Hi folks, and welcome back to Quarantine According to Eddie. It's about 10 to 3 in the morning, Thursday the 30th of April. I haven't slept, and I don't think I'm going to be completely honest, so what better time than to investigate some perhaps slightly more outlandish thoughts, something a bit more out there. And these are just thoughts, things to consider. But I was thinking about grey areas and paradoxes. A grey area is in, if you've got black and white, truth and falsehood, that bit in between where things don't always work. Because you see, we talk a lot in philosophy and ethics about things that are true, things that are false, things that are right, things that are wrong, but you always end up in a position where it becomes like blurred between right and wrong, true and false, in that things that are supposedly true or false seem against our common sense or seem illogical. Things that are morally good or bad always seem to end up boiling down to it depends. And this causes a philosophical problem because philosophy is based on logic, on analysis. It's based on this idea of classifying things and putting them in categories that goes all the way back to Aristotle. But then you hit a paradox, for example, like, can God create a rock so heavy he can't lift it? And logic breaks down. And you hit things like the fact-value problem. How do you ascertain whether something is truly good or bad? You enter this area of paradoxes and of blurred lines. Now logic's great, don't get me wrong, logic and analysis is great, but it does only take you that far, and then you hit this point where you stop. But maybe we're looking at it the wrong way. Maybe this failure of the classical analytical approach isn't the end point, but the start. It's a jumping off point to a new way of thinking. It's the point at which logic and analysis are kind of going, okay, we've taken you so far, we've taught you all the theory, now it's time for a bit of practice, a bit of practical, for you to jump off into the unknown. Maybe it's the place where intuition should be given a chance to take over. Where thinking can give way to feeling your way through. Where classifying ideas into categories gives way to creating meaning out of those ideas, rather than being told what the meaning is logically. Maybe the truth, the real truth, rather than just the verifiable and the falsifiable, the actual truth is in that grey area. It's found between that which can be verified and falsified, rather than in one of those categories itself. I'm not suggesting sort of God of the gaps type approach, where, God fills in all the gaps that aren't there, but I'm thinking in terms of a way of thinking. What if you actually, rather than thinking logically up until the point where you can't and then stopping, what if you then pass over to start feeling it, opening your mind to it? This is the basis of a lot of non-Western philosophy. There's been a lot of truth found in that for thousands of years. Maybe we need to start embracing it, not as an alternative or an opposition to Western approaches to philosophy, but as a complementary part to take over when logic only gets you so far. I once had a dream in which there were several of us, and we were being taught how to fly, how to just levitate and fly. And we were told, okay, you've got to just feel it. You've got to go with it. And I was there thinking, this is ridiculous, I can't fly. And everyone else was starting to take off. And I thought, alright, well, let's just... okay, I'll give it a go. I'll feel it. I felt my whole body lift off. And of course, logically, it makes no sense to try to extract meaning from a dream. That's very sketchy pseudoscience at best. But what if we reinterpret this idea of meaning? What if, instead of saying the dream has got a fixed meaning, what if instead I create my own meaning from that dream, create my own truth? Not in terms of verifiable, factual truth, but in terms of a meaning that I can take for myself, an authentic, valid way of being. A different kind of truth, one within the grey areas and beyond the logical. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little venture down the rabbit warren, and I'd love to know your thoughts and comments on it. Of course, get in touch, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time.